Oh my gosh, the pheasant. But yeah, besides that, we're back with what I believe to be the actual last stream of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, for me at least. Last time we had a small intermission between the trial, well, I guess investigation, where we tried to find the location of Judge Jigoku, who seemed to be running away for some reason. We don't know why yet, but it seems that he was aware that his life was in danger for some reason, but we're not sure why either. He hasn't told us. But now we're going into the last bits of the trial, so I guess without further ado, let's I was gonna say let's go, because that's what I do, but like I don't want to turn into, I'm not Mario posting, so let's just go. Let's go. Yeah. The resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. As you can see, that's the title of the stream. Woo, we're gonna be here I guess we're gonna be here all day, but not in real life. I mean, in the game. In real life, we're gonna be here for like 3 to 4 hours. We'll see. Close court, so silent. Before we begin today, I have a brief announcement. As with the closed trial 10 years ago, some astonishing facts have come to light in these proceedings. The revelation that the well-known Reaper is actually an organization legally executing its own brand of justice, and the discovery that the respected yard inspector was at its heart until he himself perished in an assassination plot. From up there on the judge's stand, he's very commanding when he stands up. Well, I say to all members of the judiciary here present on this occasion that we will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Like you ain't the one at the head, bro. Counsels, you will undertake this trial with resolve to pursue the truth to the bitter end. Resolve? Yes, that's my intention. My lord, if I may inquire, the defendant may speak. On what grounds is Ryunosuke permitted to continue in his role as prosecutor? He has admitted to colluding with the victim in a plot that is to assassinate an innocent man. He shouldn't be enjoying the privilege of freedom, let alone be leading the prosecution. I submitted a written petition to Lord Strongheart, requesting that judgment of my transgressions be delayed by 1 day. You did what? In today's proceedings, I intend to expose everything. My whole life for the last 10 years has all been leading up to this 1 day. Whatever the outcome of this trial, I've given my word that I will accept whatever punishment is deemed appropriate, however severe. And I suggest you prepare yourself for the same, Reaper. Cosmo is bristling with hostility today. I get the distinct impression we're heading into very dangerous territory. I said into for some reason. Is that really even Cosmo standing before us? As an extreme exception to normal practice, I have granted this prosecutor's request. The defense finds this acceptable, I presume? Yeah. Yes, my lord. In that case, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed hearing. Abarak Van Zeeks. The defense is ready, my lord. Prosecution is more than ready. Very well then. This preamble has taken long enough. Prosecutor Sogi, begin. As you wish, my lord. Prosecutor calls our first witness to stand. Bring Seishiro Jigoku into the courtroom. At last, then, we've reached the final battle. He's putting literally everything on the line here now in order to get the truth. Yep, he's locking in, so we gotta lock in too. Come on, Ryunosuke, it's time for that steely resolve, but this is gonna test it to the limit. Jigoku, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Ha. So it was you who issued this, was it? Your subpoena, I did what was necessary. Well, look what the young man has become. I didn't think I'd see the day when you take that tone with me, I must say. The witness will ensure his responses are pertinent to the questions asked. My name is Seishiro Jigoku, a Supreme Court judge from the Empire of Japan. 16 years ago, this man came to London as a visiting student. 6 years later, he returned to Japan. As well as presiding over the Supreme Court, he's also currently Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Wait, did he say minister or ministry? Okay, he said minister. Okay. I am of course fully aware of Mr. Jigoku and his preeminent roles. I invited him personally to the International Forensic Science Symposium as a representative of his country. I hear he also played a key role in the conclusion of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. It was a great honor to be involved in the negotiations. I put my all into that treaty. Judge Jigoku, I must ask. Well, I never. Fancy a young murdering student turning up here of all places. You acquitted me yourself. And now, I'm a practicing defense lawyer. Yes, and full of self-importance like your friend across the courtroom, I see. You came here to London by invitation to the International Forensic Science Symposium. But then, without informing anyone of your plans, you took flight to France. Took flight? I'd have to object to that turn of phrase. Then explain yourself. What exactly were the circumstances? Well, I was somewhat expecting this. And I'm sorry to say, I'm not saying, I declined to comment. What? Oh, is it going to be a thing where because he's a foreigner, they can't make him say anything? What? Leaving the country prematurely when I was invited. An invited guest may be questionable etiquette, but my decision is unrelated to this case. I can't be bound to testify. Unrelated, you say? I appreciate that a respected police inspector has been killed, for which I offer my condolences. However, being an alien, I've obviously never met the man, nor do I know the first thing about him. As such, I'm in no position to testify. It's as simple as that. So you would run from all this? I beg your pardon? This case is more far-reaching than the murder of Inspector Gregson. It has ties to another murder, a case that was tried in Japan almost a year ago now. A year ago in Japan. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson, you mean? That's right. And you, Judge Jigoku, are at the heart of both cases. The defense has evidence to prove it. Well, Ryunosuke, I see from the look in your eyes that you're resolved to carry this through to the very end too. Let's see your evidence then. What proof do you have that Seishiro Jigoku is involved in this case? Well, yeah, he says he doesn't know who Gregson was, but he had the list with his name on it. So, in your office.
Take that!
This is a telegram detailing a communication sent between Britain and Japan approximately 1 year ago. The communication contained 4 names: Kei Asogi, A. Shin, P. Gregson, J. Wilson. How did you get that? You little... Where did you get that? In Tokyo. From your office, Judge Jigoku. What? How on earth did you... What's this all about? Why is my name on that list? Why is my name on that list? This list of 4 names follows a certain pattern. P. Gregson and J. Wilson are the names of victims. Kei Asogi and A. Shin are the names of assassins. No. A year ago in Tokyo, Dr. John H. Wilson's life was taken in a Western-style restaurant in the capital. The culprit was found to be a visiting student who went by the name of Josiah Brett, but her real name was Asa Shin, a professional killer set on a mission to kill from Great Britain. A. Shin and her victim, J. Wilson, and the murder of that just took place here in London was a counterpart to that crime. An assassin sent from Japan, also a visiting student, Kazuma Asogi. whose victim was the British police inspector Tobias Gregson. K. Osoki and T. Gregson. One assassin from each country to kill a target residing in the other. What exactly is the defense suggesting? These two cases of murder, one that took place in Britain and one in Japan, were masterminded by a pair of individuals from each country as a form of assassin exchange, and the telegram the defense has acquired is proof of this international contract to kill. What? What? The telegram was found in your office, Judge Jigoku. In other words, the mastermind in this Japan was you. Judge Jigoku, what is this? What's this all about? And you, Kazuma, you lied. Huh? During yesterday's proceedings, you acknowledged that you'd accepted the assassination mission. By the monarch wasn't Judge Jigoku at all. It was T. Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard, as shown by the name on this killing trunk. Very impressive, Ryunosuke. But actually, I didn't lie. The name of the target I was ordered to kill never passed my lips yesterday. The idea that Seishiro Jigoku was the mark came entirely from you. Huh? You deliberately avoided saying a name. The defense claims these four names indicate some sort of international assassin exchange. I'm sure I speak for all present when I say that the very idea seems utterly absurd. Well, Mr. Jigoku, what do you have to say for yourself? His silence, it only goes to prove his guilt. There's another very important point that this new development brings to light. There's now a distinct possibility that the scene of the Inspector Grigs's actual murder wasn't in the witness cabin aboard the SS Groose. Judge Jigoku, you'll have to testify now. To refuse will put you in contempt of court. There's no need for quite such a vicious stare, young man. Very well then. As a parting gift for you all, I'll tell you everything I know. Parting gift? What do you mean? Like, it seems this Japanese gentleman has information that the court must hear about the alleged assassin exchange and the events of the night of 31st October. Present your formal testimony now. As you wish, my lord. Jigoku, assassin exchange. It's true that Ryunosuke was assigned the assassination mission 1 year ago now. Target was Inspector T. Gregson. That was the condition of the British study tour. However, in the end, something happened that meant that the young man was unable to carry out his mission. On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin at all times. If there had been shots fired, the crewman would have heard it, so clearly I can't be involved. Oh, well, we know that's not true. Well, we the player know that's not true, but we have to prove it. So you admit it then, as this communication suggests, there really was an assassin exchange arrangement between Britain and Japan. I honestly pertain a political endeavor at the highest levels, not something I could discuss here. To use such a worthy practice as foreign study to coerce somebody to commit murder is the most appalling thing I've ever heard. Appalling? Well, it's easy to judge. Pardon? Osoki had a reason for taking his sword to that British inspector, you know? What? Which is why he accepted the mission in the first place. Isn't that right, Counsel? Kazuma-sama. Judge Jigoku, if you are the mastermind behind this operation in Japan, then tell the court the identity of your counterpart in Britain. I'm not obliged to divulge that information. Huh? As I said yesterday, I've killed nobody. I freely admit that I accepted the mission, but on the night the plan was to be executed, I backed out. In short, this assassin exchange that the defense has identified is unrelated to the events of this case. The crucial point is this. The police inspector can't have perished aboard that steamship in Dunkirk, because if he'd been shot in the cabin, it's inconceivable that a member of the crew wouldn't have heard it. That's right. Gregson was killed after returning to London, in the room on the Fresno Street. And the perpetrator of the crime was the Reaper, Barak Van Zix. The prosecution's accusation remains unchanged. To think that a seemingly innocent foreign exchange program was a facade for such Machiavellian dealings. Clearly, it's a plot only a government minister and high-ranking judge, just as a witness, could hope to execute. Well, I seem to recall that it was someone on the British side who controlled everything. Be that as it may, it is not the place of this court to pursue this villainous assassin exchange plot. We are concerned only with the tangible events pertaining to the murder of Inspector Gregson. Is the defense clear on that point, counsel? Yes, my lord. I'll keep that in mind as I cross-examine the witness. It's true that Cosmos Lee was sent to assassin. Attacker was Inspector T. Gregson and his counsel. Went to the end was able to carry out his thing. On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on this other side. Oh, that's okay. That's what we know. That's not true. Okay, that's the statement. We know that's not true. Because we have that memo. We have that memo. We got.
Objection.
No, they weren't. Yes, as the court has heard, there was a crewman posted outside the Judge Jigoku's cabin. However, we can be sure that, contrary to the witness's claim, their guard wasn't there at all times. What? I have here a notice of a particular event that was scheduled to take place aboard the steamship on the 31st. What? Where did you get that? It's evidence gathered by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. You were acquainted yesterday, if you remember. Herlock Sholmes again. According to this itinerary, after leaving the port of Dunkirk at exactly 10 p.m. and for a period of 20 minutes, all crewmen of the SS Bruce were to gather on the deck for an evacuation drill. All crewmen were away from their posts. And during that 20-minute interval, of course, any gunshots emanating from your cabin would have been heard by no one. In summary, Judge Jigoku, you had an ample opportunity to commit the crime. Ah. That was, they give the
Objection.
tossing us an easy one, a freebie, a 20-minute window of opportunity. That's an excellent find, Ryunosuke. But it amounts to nothing. Why? Because the witness clearly stated in his testimony, no incident occurred in this text. Do we have a thing about that? Because we know that's not true. Oh, we can. It's this this was found in this. Okay, unless you have some decisive evidence that can show his testimony to be false, your accusation is nothing more than conjecture. Very true. Well, counsel, yeah, we do have something. Inspector Gregson was killed in Judge Jigoku's cabin that night. I'm certain of it. Because the defense have evidence to prove it. You will present the evidence for the defense at once, counsel. What proof do you have that the victim's life was taken in the... Yeah. His watch, the piece of his watch was in there. Judge Jigoku, this was found in your cabin yesterday. What is that? The crown of a pocket watch. Ah, a pocket watch. And if you will observe, the victim's pocket watch, which we know he's treasured, is missing precisely that part. It can't be. Moreover, the crown is a perfect fit on the spindle protruding from the victim's watch. Now, the fact that this was retrieved from Judge Jigoku's cabin tells us that the victim's watch was almost certainly broke there. Ugh. In other words, the victim was killed on the 31st during the 20-minute evacuation drill in the cabin occupied by you, Judge Jigoku. Well, you're razor sharp, aren't you, you young murderer? Hey, take a look in the mirror. Expertly maneuvered, Ryunosuke. Huh? And your argument sounds entirely plausible at first. But rather like with this pocket watch, it's full of cracks. What? And I believe Judge Jigoku feels the same way. I was wrong to acquit you earlier in the year. Holy, sorry? If I'd known that it would result in anyone having to listen to this drivel, I would have declared you guilty just to spare the world of your ridiculous bombast. I think it's clear that the witness will have to give further testimony. When you hear what actually happened in my cabin that night, you'll notice of the pitfall into which you stumbled. Prior to your renewed testimony, I would like to clarify the one point. The fact that this part of the victim's watch was discovered in your cabin means that you acknowledge he was there, I presume. Yes, I do. Very well then. You may proceed to give your formal testimony about what exactly happened in your cabin aboard the ship on the evening of the 31st October. Of course, as a man of the law, I have no intention of obstructing justice. Obstructing justice. The events in the cabin. I had a guest waiting for me when I returned to my cabin after finishing my evening meal in the dining room. When I walked through the door, a mustachioed Englishman was there, foolishly waving a gun at me. I soon took care of him with an ippon seoi. I don't know how to say it. Throw. Ippon throw. Though he couldn't wait to run away after that. I imagine his watch was broken when I threw him over my shoulder. It has nothing to do with his murder. The inspector was clearly killed having returned to Britain because his body was found in London. How did you know that? Ippon seoi, a common jujutsu martial arts technique in my country. I was careful not to use too much force, but the man obviously landed too heavily for his watch to take. So, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I imagine you see the flaw in your logic now, can't you? What? The fact that the pocket watch was broken in the witness's cabin in no way proves that the victim's murder took place there. Ah! I have no doubt that the inspector intended to kill me, but he didn't manage to pull the trigger. Yes, because he was merely the tactician, not the Reaper's hand of death. Well, the testimony appears to make perfect sense as far as I can tell. Well, but we know a shot was fired in there, so that's not true. Let me express my deep gratitude for your understanding, my lord. But if this testimony holds, Judge Jigoku will be deemed to have no involvement in the case. Well, counsel, I really see no reason for wasting precious court time here on a cross-examination. Sorry, my lord. The defense has a right to cross-examine, and I don't intend to squander that. You're an embarrassment to your countrymen, not knowing when you're beaten. Too late. In that case, proceed, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, first, start with the contentious comments. I had a guest waiting for me when I returned. Yeah, we know that. I walked through the door, a mustachioed man waving a gun. Let's press this. I'm interested in that. Obviously, you're talking about Mr. Gregson. Yes, though at the time, I didn't know the man's name, and there were no time for introductions. I value my life over manners. I'll understand by which you mean that the inspector was there to assassinate you, I suppose. That was certainly the impression given by the gun pointing in my direction, but I'd never seen a muzzle of a revolver shake about so much in all my life. Anyone would think the man had never shot somebody before. Believe it or not, most of us haven't. Anyway, there was no time to call for the help of the crewman at the door, so I dealt with the man myself. I soon took care of him with an ippon sail throw.
Hold it!
Even though the man had a gun, that was a very brave move, wasn't it? My ippon sail is far faster than a bullet. I can assure you that's not true. But surely all that commotion caused the crewman to come in, didn't it? Hmm? Yes, of course. He burst in immediately without knocking. The inspector hurled himself at the stocky fellow and just managed to sneak past it to make his escape. The outstanding guard does it again. Lucky there aren't many situations I can get out of using a quick Ippon sail throw. I imagine his watch was broken when I threw him over my shoulder. Nothing to do with the murder.
Hold it!
The crown snapped off and the glass covering the face of the watch was cracked. Preferable to the man's head being pulled off his flying cracking, wouldn't you say? Not that the man was spared for long. A bullet to the chest soon saw to that. But the point is, the broken pocket watch doesn't prove that a murder took place. Absolutely not. All the watch proves is that the power of my jujutsu throw. Whatever you say, it doesn't quite ring true that no shot was fired in that cabin. Because there was an obvious bullet hole in the wall. Ha 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 ha! What are you talking about? Hmm? That's what the star of your lowbrow detective story has told you, is it? Well, I don't care for such fiction. Hmm? Haven't you worked it out yet, you little stripling? No murder took place in my cabin. Do I have... Yeah, I was thinking... I don't have... Yeah. I don't have evidence for that. That the gun was... A bullet was shot in the thing. I really don't. So I guess I must press for information. But there's no evidence that proves the victim ever returned to London alive. Just take a moment to think that idea of yours through now, stripling. What? If the inspector was killed on the steamship in France, how on earth could he have got back to Britain? When people die, their bodies remain at that same spot. It's a devil of a thing. Well, then, obviously the culprit must have moved the body. How exactly? Carrying a corpse off the ship in your arms would raise a few eyebrows at least, don't you think? Well, yes, that's true, but all passengers' luggage is inspected when it is unloaded from arriving vessels. And I would like to... Oh! No! No, if you remember what... If you remember what that father said to us yesterday, is that he doesn't get searched. If the murder had taken place aboard a ship, you would imagine the body would have been disposed of at sea. There would be no sense in risking being caught by attempting to transfer the body back to Britain. That's killed that idea then. But perhaps not. Mr. Zato? We've heard that the first-class passengers were under constant scrutiny by the crewmen posted to guard them, which would mean that the culprit had no opportunity to dispose of the body in the sea. Yes, that's true. So transporting the body to Britain may have been the only viable alternative. Dear me, you really are new to this, aren't you? Hmm? I thought I'd been perfectly clear, but it seems I'm going to have to explain it in words you can understand. I think I ought to alter my testimony, with your consent, of course, my lord. I have no objections. State your amended testimony now. There's no possible way I could have transported Greg back to Britain. That's not true. Oh, okay. Yes, I think it's this. It's gonna be this again. We're gonna say where it was found. It was found in his trunk, which means that Gregson somehow must have found his way into the trunk. Yeah, it's this again.
Objection.
No, it's not. Okay, no, Okay, no. Okay, overcooked. There's no possible way I could have transferred. You're not supposed to use the picture. Well, let's try.
Objection.
Okay, what's the picture? Okay, I was right. I'm like, oh, is it the picture? There's no possible way you could have moved Inspector Greggson's body, you say? I would say the opposite is true. Yeah. Okay. I was wondering how we would prove that, but I figured it out. And what's that supposed to mean? Far from being impossible for you to do, that transporting your respective Greg's body back to your Britain is something only you could do. What are you talking about, Ryunosuke? As well as being a judge, Mr. Jigoku is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, which means he's exempt from having his luggage searched when he enters the country. We learned that when we first met upon your arrival in London. He did, yeah, he said that. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Ah, I knew you were jealous. Oh my gosh, Gregson was in that luggage. I presume you recall this, Judge Jigoku. The picture we took. It's a photograph we took in the foyer of the hotel to mark the occasion. As the court will know, you have with you your large travel trunk. Large enough, in fact, to have a corpse inside. Mr. Naruhodo, surely you're not suggesting? I'm afraid I am, yes. 3 days ago, when we were chatting innocently with the new arrival from Japan in the hotel, the body of Inspector Gregson was just meters away from us, inside Judge Jigoku's trunk. Yeah, you had the trunk on him that whole time. Order in court! I'm skeptical, counsel, that a grown man's body could fit inside even the largest travel trunk. It could. Because I happen to know that the witness himself, a man of considerable size, fits inside his trunk. And verifying that would be extremely simple, wouldn't it, Judge Jigoku? But inside his trunk, how horrifying! And after we'd spoken with you at the Great Waterloo Hotel, you had the opportunity to visit the apparent scene on Fresno Street. Taking your trunk with you in the cab to deposit the inspector's body. I don't have to listen to this nonsense. Dr. Gori, the coroner who examined the body, has confirmed the possibility. She's acknowledged that there are signs that the steps may have been taken to disguise the true time of death. The onset of the body's decomposition could have been delayed by storing it in a refrigerator. Counsel, as I remember explaining yesterday, refrigerators of the Royal Society are few and far between. Yes, on Britain, but what about on one place they're certainly found is on large ocean liners. Such ships are equipped with electrically refrigerated cold rooms to keep food fresh on their long sea voyages, and the SS Groose is no exception. Professor Mikotoba told me about it only yesterday. Well, Judge Jigoku? However much you prolong this debate, you can't eliminate the truth. All the evidence points to you being the killer. Well, this is all very heartening. I can see that it was a wise move, letting Asogi and you embark on the study tour. What are you talking about now? Logical reasoning, of course. All court proceedings will be built on logical reasoning in the new century. And I can see that you've both laid firm foundations for that already. Huh? Judge Jigoku, please, stop diverting attention from the issue at hand. The defense has made an accusation against you. How do you respond? Respond? There's really no need for me to respond, is there? Why ever not? Because before you can even begin to answer the question of when a victim was killed, you must first establish one key fact. Why would I want to kill him? Where was the victim killed? It's quite logical. The actual scene of the crime. The prosecution's stance is unaltered. The killing took place on Fresno Street when the gunshot was heard. As the accused, Barrett Van Zeek shot the victim at point-blank range. Since no tangible evidence exists to disprove the prosecution's claim at this time, the defense's deductions amount to little more than an elaborate fairy tale. I'm afraid that's how the logical reasoning the British are known for really works, young stripling. The victim was shot in that little room on the Fresno Street and died instantly. I'm afraid it's the prosecution's claim. That's the only fairy tale here. How can you say that? Quite simply, because that claim directly contradicts a certain piece of evidence in our possession. Very tantalizing, counsel. I think you had better explain. The prosecution claimed that the Inspector Grayson died instantly when he was shot at the scene on Fresno Street. But this evidence clearly contradicts that claim. Oh. Oh. Oh, was this shot? Because this is the type of revolver that's standard issue for members of the judiciary then. Yes, and when I asked about the weather, I told that the last 5 years they've been see the number. Oh, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun. Tells us it must have been issued longer ago than that. Okay, no. Okay, no. Okay, no, it doesn't say it was saying that counters would claim that the
Take that!
Japanese really are a curious breed. No. Okay. Especially. Wait, hold on. Let's read. What did he say? It's very kind of like he's saying. Evidence of non-possession. This?
Take that!
No? Okay, no. Sorry. No. That disregards a crit contradicts a certain piece of evidence. Isn't that? As is a box. No, wasn't that maybe the gun? I feel like someone said the gun wasn't fired.
Take that!
No? Okay, no. Whether the thing died in something that contradicts that he died in Fresno Street.
Take that!
No? No, not the sword. He has this that claim. Clearly contradicts this evidence. Or it's oh wow, wait, that instant. This? I don't know. Let's try this.
Take that!
No. No, that's not the music.
that!
This conviction only presents nonsense evidence. Okay, yeah. What doesn't make sense? If the person died, I think, but evidence to clear consequence that claim.
Take that!
Oh, it was that. There was a picture. A photograph of the victim in the very location you claim he wasn't killed. Yes, but the point is the posture of his body itself. Oh, okay. We're supposed to take that. Look, he looks like he was just dropped. Eh? If he was shot in there, he wouldn't have dropped like that. If Inspector Gregson had been shot there in that room, it's out of the question that his body would have been curled up like that. Curled up in a ball like that, only if you dropped him out of the chest. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but your logic is flawed. He could easily have adopted that fetal position due to the pain of being. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. He died instantly, so no, he couldn't have. Nope, he died instantly. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Judge Jigoku, but it's your logic that is flawed. What? According to this autopsy report, the victim died instantly. He would have felt no pain, much less have been able to draw himself into that position. Ah! Which begs the question of why the victim's body is curled up in that way. Though the answer should be abundantly clear by now. You're suggesting the inspector's body took on that posture ahead of its arrival on Fresno Street before it was coldly turned out on the floor from the inside of a large travel trunk. No, you're quite right. The shape of the body looks exactly as if it kept in a confined space. Judge Jigoku, present your trunk for examination. I believe it's very possible that it will contain traces of the victim's blood. Ah! Present my trunk. I refuse. What? On what grounds? I'm the Minister of Foreign Affairs from the Empire of Japan. I shouldn't have to put up with this treatment just because of some stripling baseless accusations. In other words, Judge Jigoku, refusing basically means you admitting it. There is blood in your trunk. I decline to answer that. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I have privileges that allow me to. At this moment, you're not a government minister. You're a witness in a trial at Britain's highest court. I don't care who you are or what your status outside this courtroom might be. You will not withhold information. Nothing is more important than the truth. Ah! Ah! Get him. Order in the court. Well, Mr. Jigoku, what's it to be? You can't be serious. You did it? Have you no shame at all, Kazuma Sogi? What? Very well, I admit it. I did bring the inspector's body into the country. Inside my trunk, exactly as postulated by the defense. What? You? Dear God, outrageous! So it was you! You admit to admit? No, I admit to nothing more than what I've said. Of killing the man, I certainly have no recollection. What on earth is that cryptic statement supposed to mean? I merely disposed of the inspector's body, which was left on my cabin, in order to avoid unwanted attention. As the judicial assistant over there pointed out, I had no chance to throw it into the ocean. So, I decided my only option was to bring it into Britain with me and dispose of it somewhere else. But you definitely picked an interesting location. You can't still deny it. You didn't do it. Then who on earth did kill a man? As you know, there was one other person in my cabin that night. He had the opportunity. And moreover, he'd already accepted a mission to take the inspector's life. Oh. That's right. Who else could it have been? It was you, Kazuma Sogi. You. I never thought you'd stoop to this, Seishiro Jigoku. Uh-oh, throwing me under the bus. You've taken the words straight out of my mouth. Prosecutor Kazuma Asogi. Uh-oh. You thought by leaving the body in my cabin you could pin the crime on me, did you? Huh? Oh, no. Well, the prosecution counsel has already admitted to visiting the witness's cabin on the night in question. Yes, on an assassination mission, no less. You wouldn't. So, what do you make of that, young stripling? You've heard my testimony now, and that's all I have to say on the matter. I'll admit to nothing more. I don't believe it. I don't believe this. Not it. Counsel for defense, what is your position now? The court awaits your response to the witness's assertion. The assertion that on the night in question, the victim's assailant was in fact Mr. Kazuma Asogi. This isn't the dead end it seems to be. The answer's right in front of me. It comes down to Jigoku or Kazuma. Both of them had the opportunity to kill Gregson, but only one of them did it. And I'm just a step away from proving who. Very well. The defense is ready to respond to the assertion put forward by Judge Jigoku. The idea that Sugi is impossible. Because he died through a gunshot wound, it's not impossible. It's impossible. And his sword was broken. Gunshot wound, he doesn't have a gun. Impossible. Judge Jigoku, let me remind you of something you said only a few minutes ago. You claimed that logical reasoning is the future of the judicial process. It is, no question. Well, logical reasoning can prove something here. Namely, that it would have been impossible for Prosecutor Sogi to commit the crime. What? The court will only accept an argument that is supported by compelling evidence. But present what you have, counsel. What proof is there that they allegedly demonstrate the impossibility of Prosecutor Sogi's involvement? It's either the sword or the thing. The fact that it's shipped or... I'm gonna try this sword.
Take that!
Yep. Uh-oh, you're making the evidence weep here. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Take that!
Making the evidence weep here now.
Take that!
No. Oof. What, Mr. Shaw? What makes it so that he was not? Yeah, I got that. Let's check the sword again. No. What proof is there that demonstrates? I don't know.
Take that!
No. Come on. Almost have it. As it demonstrates.
Take that!
No. I did the trunk, right?
Take that!
I did do the trunk, yeah. Every piece of evidence. No. Okay, it's not that. It's not the trunk. Maybe examine the trunk again. No, it's fine. Usually it's something. What makes it proof that it couldn't be a Sogi? This?
Take that!
Okay, not that. Not that. Is it a watch?
Take that!
No. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to. Oh, no.
Take that!
Oh, the itinerary for the crew, recruitment of the SS Goose, my lord. This is conclusive proof. Itinerary. How does that prove anything? Judge Yoku, the moment you acknowledge that you found the victim's body in your cabin, the itinerary suddenly became much more significant. What? Why? On the night in question, as always, a crewman sentry was on guard outside your cabin. As long as he was there, nobody could have fired a shot inside the cabin. Absolutely, because it's inconceivable that the guard wouldn't have heard it and come to investigate. So that tells us that the crimes must have taken place when the guard was elsewhere. And that narrows it down to 20 minutes just after 10 o'clock as indicated on the itinerary. Yes, I see no flaw in your reasoning so far. But the crucial point is this: when the evacuation drill took place, the steamship had already put to sea from the port of Dunkirk. Ah! Now, clearly the murder could only have been committed by somebody who was aboard the vessel at the time. But Professor Yosugi stated in yesterday's proceedings, that was weird. I was supposed to use the thing. Yeah, he left. And he said he could prove that he wasn't there. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life. So I left Gregson and disembarked at the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. If you want, I can prove it, and he could prove it, which is, I'm sure the court will agree, is conclusive proof that Cosmo Sogi couldn't possibly have carried out the killing. Yeah! No, absolutely not. I don't accept that at all. What do you mean? What are you playing at? The boy's just saying that to exonerate himself. We can't trust me that he really disembarked the vessel. No, he said he could prove it. Obviously, after he left my cabin, he hid himself somewhere nearby on the ship, just waiting for his chance to come back and finish the. No, that's out of the question, isn't it, Kazuma? As the defense rightly recalls, I disembarked the vessel and spent the night in a boarding house in Dunkirk. I could easily, and as I said yesterday, I signed my name in the accommodations register book. All extremely easy to verify and undeniable proof. Ah, no, there's no escape this time. You can forget that you're a judge or government minister. It's time you gave the court an honest answer as a common man. Ah! You killed Inspector Tobias Gregson and transported his corpse back to Britain. Then you dumped the body in the room on Fresno Street and made it look like as if a murder had happened there. That's what really happened, isn't it, Seishiro Jigoku? He's gonna break this down. It was that damn trial 10 years ago. That's when all this began. Looking back now, my fate was decided that day. I was doomed already. Ah! It's over. My life is over. Whoa, he's atomized that desk. So what? As a British assassin to eliminate a professor in Japan, a Japanese assassin to eliminate a detective in Britain. Oh, so no, because he was responsible, the killing fell to him for Gregson since Kazuma bailed. I see. Both assassins will use diplomatic immunity to evade conviction and return safely to their homelands. This assassin exchange a request arrived in Britain about 1 year ago, though it was hardly a request, it was a demand. And for that, he decided to recruit Mr. Asogi. But things didn't go according to plan. Your chosen assassin never made it to Britain, and you found yourself unable to dispatch a replacement because I was already on my way to Britain at the time in Cosmo's place. And that left me with only one option for carrying out my obligation: to eliminate the mark myself, personally. Yeah, he had to do it. Of course, there was but a single opportunity for me to do that. The International Forensic Science Symposium, I presume? That's right. I decided it would be safest to carry out the plan before my arrival in Britain. So I enlisted the help of my British counterpart and made arrangements for a pretext that would take the inspector to Dunkirk. But the only one who could get him to do that is Strongheart. So to lure the man in, he was given a sham mission by the Reaper. What? The Reaper? But there's only one person who could have done that. The mastermind of the entire operation. The Reaper himself. Ah. So that means that the assassin's exchange was all planned by the Reaper. So yeah, who has that kind of pull? Because it's not Van Zeek's. I'm not at liberty to say anything about my British counterpart. Anyway, the inspector accepted the Reaper's mission and dutifully infiltrated my cabin on the steamship. But it was all a trap designed to lead him to France and his own death. Oh, how awful. It was past 9 o'clock when I returned to my cabin from the dining hall that evening. I didn't give him time to attack me. I choked him until he lost consciousness. But there was a guard just outside the door, so I left it at that for the time being. Even the slightest noise might have aroused suspicion, so I bided my time waiting. For the 20 minutes after 10 o'clock, I had intended to finish him off by strangulation, but moments before I had the chance, they suddenly came round and went for me in a reckless move. I received a British-issued gun 16 years earlier, being a member of the judiciary and as a visiting student. I never imagined I'd have to use it for something like that. So the revolver belongs to you, doesn't it? Then the victim was killed inside your cabin on the night SS Bruce, which begs the question, of why you arranged for his body to be discovered in the room on Fresno Street. The young judicial assistant over there has already answered that question. There was no way I could take the body up on deck to throw it over the side. That's precisely where all the crewmen were gathered for the evacuation drill. So before the first class cabin sentries returned, I took the corpse to the refrigeration room. And then on arriving in Dover, you concealed the body in your trunk in order to smoke it past the border police. I knew I needed to take steps if the police were to be convinced when the body was found in London. In that case, you must have known. You must have had an intimate details of Inspector Gregson's intended schedule. Yes, my British counterpart sent me everything I needed to know. The inspector was due at Fresno Street at 5 o'clock that afternoon in order to meet a man by the name of Hugh Boone, from whom he would take back his police identification. Ah! I decided that man would be the perfect person to set up as a culprit. So I took the hackney carriage over there with the body. Oh! So the target wasn't going to be Van Sleeks. It was going to be Boone. Oh, okay. That must have been why. Just after we took that photograph with you at the hotel then. Yes, I wasn't expecting a welcoming committee. I was more than a little nervous. On Fresno Street, I spotted a young girl selling little firecrackers. Miss Venus, of course. I conceived of the candle trick there and then. So I donned the simple disguise and approached the girl to buy enough firecrackers to replicate a gunshot. What sort of disguise? For some reason, the inspector had a bright red hairpiece in his own traveling case. So I put it on to put that on, although I suspect that I drew more attention to myself than I would have otherwise. The hairpiece we found at the scene. The inspector had it ready for the Red-Headed League investigation, only to arrive at the room at around 4:45. So I quickly placed the body on the floor, moved the notice board, and set up my little candle trick. I had arranged it so the firecracker would go off with a bang about 15 minutes later, so that Mr. Boone, who was due to arrive at 5, would walk straight into a trap. Except, at the last moment, I made a careless blunder. What was that? What was that? I imagine it was a bag of fish and chips. Ah! I didn't notice that it had fallen out of his overcoat pocket when I moved the body to the refrigeration room. I put it back into his pocket the following morning, but, well, it seemed the warmth of the heated cabin had accelerated the decay of the fish. Anyway, that's everything. That's everything. All the sordid details of what I did. But we're not done here yet, because we still didn't find out who he said that himself. We're gonna find where the trial is to find out who the Reaper is. I've heard enough. We've arrived at the truth about the murder of one of the country's most capable and respected police inspectors. The witness will be tried in the coming days. For a crime of such a vile nature, you can expect the most severe penalty. An exchange of assassins. What a foolhardy idea. Mr. Jiyoku, one last detail. Who was your counterpart in Britain? Who was the mastermind behind the assassin exchange? Nothing you say now can make matters any worse for you. Just tell us. Enough! I've already told you. I cannot say. Even though as things stand, you may very well never set foot in your homeland again. What are you waiting for? Can we get this over with now? It's finished. All of it. I'm finished. Then, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I now pronounce the findings of this court. This man before us has admitted to the willful murder of Tobias Gregson. Teshiro Jizoku, It is the opinion of this court that you should be found guilty. And may I remind all those present that the strict confidentiality of demanded by this closed court. Objection. No, that's not it. Oh no, I was wrong. Moments ago, Mr. Yoko signed a written confession admitting to the murder of Inspector Gregson and their subsequent conveyance of the body. In short, defendant's innocence has therefore been established beyond doubt. Oh, wonderful. Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, thank you. Is something wrong? I'm just a little troubled by his silence. The true identity of the Reapers of the Bailey and this extraordinary assassin exchange. We do remain in the dark about these mysteries. However, insofar as the indictment brought against the defendant in this trial, we have reached the conclusion. I have every intention of pursuing both mysteries as a prosecutor. As you wish. Now, for the formal adjudication. I hereby declare the defendant, Barak Van Zieks.
Objection!
The prosecution calls for adjudication to be deferred. Counsel? The accused's innocence hasn't been fully established at all, and therefore it would be wrong to deliver a verdict at this time. That is the prosecution's unwavering position. What? What? But Judge Jikoku has already confessed. Nevertheless, Barak Van Zieks has committed crimes for which he must be punished. Well, it would appear you have information that the court needs to hear, Prosecutor Sogi. Certainly, the murder of Inspector Gregson was actually carried out by Seishiro Jigoku, but it appeared from the witness's testimony that he was coerced into complying with the plot into this sick, merciless assassin exchange. That may be true, but so what I want to know is who coerced Jigoku, who was pulling the strings? The victim went to France having been ordered on a mission from the Reaper, only to be murdered. In other words, the mastermind behind this assassination exchange is someone in a position to give such an order. As we've already established, the Reaper himself. Well, certainly, that would appear to follow. The prosecution hereby formally accuses the man in the dock, Barak Van Zieks, of being the Reaper of the Bailey, and furthermore, I'm going to prove his guilt beyond all reasonable doubt. What? What? Oh, brother. So basically, we're still at the same point. Order, order, order! The Reaper of the Bailey is a long-standing mystery, Counsel. Are you suggesting you have some new information with which to build a case? Scotland Yard has already investigated Lord Van Zieks very thoroughly in that regard, and they found no evidence whatsoever to substantiate the claims that he is the Reaper. Perhaps, our circumstances have now changed. What do you mean? It's already been established that the assassin exchange was negotiated with Jigoku by the Reaper himself, which means we now have a new line of questioning by which to identify definitively the man's identity. That is the prosecution's intention here. I must say I'm surprised by quite how tenaciously you appear to want to besmirch my name. You are guilty of an unforgivable crime, Lord Van Zieks. And I will bring you to justice for it, whatever it takes. That explains Cosmo's silence before. He has stopped at nothing to finish what Lord Van Zieks unwittingly started it 10 years ago. Very well. While it's extremely irregular, I will on this occasion grant the prosecution further opportunity for witness testimony. defendant will disclose any and all involvement he has with the Reaper and the Assassin Exchange. I thank you, my lord, for guiding the court so wisely. I hereby declare this court to be in session for a supplementary hearing. Pray turn a blind eye to discourtesy as I verified that this vile and unremitting accusation hasn't soured the contents of a hallowed chalice. Hasn't Lord Vanzies. I first had to suffer the pseudonym of the Reaper 10 years ago now. I first had this, the Reaper 10 years ago now, and ever since that time, I've endured the weight of the implied guilt that's gone with it. So I welcome the chance. Sorry, hold on. Wait. So I welcome the chance to testify now and crush those allegations once and for all. Good. Then let the justice aside, Lord Van Zeeks. The prosecution seeks to begin building its case by calling the accused to stand as a primary witness in order that he may answer the accusation brought by the prosecution that he is the Reaper of the Bailey. And what says the defense? Putting the defendant in the witness stand can be extremely dangerous, and Cosmo-sama is so emotional at the moment, he's not thinking logically. You're right that he's not himself, but I knew it would be like this. And I came here today determined to face him through whatever might arise as a lawyer and as his friend. And that's what we must do. The defense has no objection, my lord. Very well, defendant. Very well. Defendant, you will take the witness stand and give formal testimony on the subject of your involvement with the Reaper and the Assassin Exchange. As you wish, my lord. I've never taken the life of another, nor have instructed another to kill. I've been investigating the truth behind the Reaper for years, and I was aware of Gregson's involvement. That's the reason why I went to Fresno Street that day, and how I came to discover that body. The point is, no common thread exists between myself, Gregson, and Dr. Wilson. Clearly, therefore, there's no reason to suspect me of being the assassin behind the Assassin Exchange. Yes, there is. So you deny all accusation by the prosecution, both that you and the Reaper of the Bailey, but that you both that you are the Reaper of the Bailey and that you went masterminded the assassin exchange. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't do that. Oh. I acknowledge that the public at large believe me to be the Reaper. Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait. What happened? Why did it just... Well, wait. Wait. Hold on. The thing borked out. I'm like, why couldn't I... Wait. Oh, hold on. Because you can't hear it now because my thing... Wait, can I change it to this? No. Audio properties, no. Hold on. Properties, device. Okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. My. Oh, wait. I think I stepped on something in my fucking ass controller and this damn thing broke it. Okay, that. Okay. Well, okay, you can hear it now, but the game. Hold on, 1 sec. I have to reboot the game. Sorry, I can't hear it on my end, or I can't hear it in my headphones. 1 sec. There you go. Yeah, this game is like if you boot it in, if you boot it like you can't switch like output devices while it's loaded. Back? Okay, we're good. So I already know. Naturally, the prosecution believes the testimony just given by the accused to be untrue. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Yes? Let me ask you, why are you here? What really brings you to this courtroom? A desire to uncover the truth. Even if the truth proves your client to be guilty? From all my experiences in this courtroom, I've come to realize something. The truth can't be hidden. Sooner or later, it will come out. So it's always been my intention to work with my client in the pursuit of the truth. I want you to remember what you just said. Enough, enough dilatory chatter. Counsel for defense, proceed to cross-examine the witness. Yes, my lord. I knew exactly what you're thinking. I know exactly what you're thinking, Cosmo. I know you're just waiting to point it out. The contradiction you conceived, you're convinced lies somewhere within this man's testimony. That, yeah, there's no connection between him, Wilson, and the Reaper. No, there is. Reaper assassin. No. Never. I've been investigating the truth behind the Reaper for years. Reason why I went to Fresno Street and anything. The point is, no common 36 would be myself, Gregson, and Dr. Wilson. Okay. That's not true. The autopsy of Clint. That's not true. What is this, counsel? What is this? An autopsy report? Wait, this is 10 years old. From the old autopsy of Lord Clint Van Zleek's. What? My brother's autopsy report. There you go. I'm pleased to see the defense doesn't intend to run from the undeniable truth. Order in the court. Order in court. What reason do you have for presenting a 10-year-old autopsy report here, counsel? The autopsy report of the professor's final victim, is an undeniable link between Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson, and the defendant. Not that accursed name again, the professor. I personally researched all the court records relating to that case. I know that at the time, autopsy was considered sacrilege to the victim's soul, and for a member of the aristocracy like Lord Clinton Vanzie's, it was unthinkable. But someone implored the powers that be to allow the autopsy to go ahead. Inspector Gregson. He declared that he was certain he would obtain conclusive proof from the procedure, and it was Dr. Wilson who conducted the autopsy. His signature is clearly visible on the document. As promised by Gregson, the autopsy did indeed produce evidence. Evidence that conclusively proved Genshin Asugi was guilty of the murders. In my brother's dying moments, he mustered all his remaining strength to leave that vital clue behind. But that's not true. Indeed, that was the key to indicting the professor for his crimes and the conclusive evidence that convicted him. And it established Lord Vanzie's he's here to avenge his brother's senseless death with a marvelous victory in court. A marvelous victory, was it? I wonder if that's really true. What? Could the same be said if it turned out that the key piece of evidence in the question was in fact fabricated? And if the inspector, the coroner, and the prosecutor all colluded together to cast an innocent Japanese man as a mass murderer and send him to his death? That's outrageous. And now, 10 years later, for some reason, the secret has been threatened and needs protecting, which is why the inspector and the coroner had to be silenced, isn't it? By someone in the power in Japan and in Britain, using the 2 killers recruited for the assassin exchange. Order at once. 10 years ago, my father was convicted in this very courtroom as a mass murderer, to be sentenced to death. But it was all a sham, and I swore to myself that I'd prove it, and which is why I had to come to Britain, whatever the cost. You'll have to forgive me if I feel compelled to toast this this vengeful Nipponese's tenacity of purpose here. However, who fails to quash his emotions in the courtroom has failed as a lawyer. Because remember, it wasn't him, because he wasn't the original prosecutor for the case. So no, it's not Vanzie, because Vanzie was not the original prosecutor. Only after he kept badgering Strongheart to be the prosecutor, to take the reins, did he become prosecutor. And that could have happened well after the planting of fake evidence. So he probably had no idea. He who fails to quash his emotions in the courtroom has failed as a lawyer. Come on, Kazuma, you know this won't wash. You're claiming your father was misrepresented in a trial that took place a whole decade ago. You must see that without evidence, that's nothing more than a wild accusation. As it happens, I have evidence. What? As the court has heard, I crossed the channel to France with Gregson on the 31st. I went with him under pretext of being the assassin recruited to kill Seishiro Jigoku, but my true intentions were to make the inspector tell me the truth. What truth? The truth about the evidence, and he acknowledged what I'd already deduced. There's a closely guarded secret about what went on in that autopsy 10 years ago. What? A secret? I know nothing of any secret. While we waited for my supposed mark in Jigoku's cabin, I drew my client's illustrious Sora Kuruma before the inspector's eyes. He very quickly understood what my true motive was. Right, I see. You're that Asogi's young lad, are you? And what? You're gonna cut me down with that thing? Is that it? That will very much depend on the answers you give to my questions. I want to know what really happened 10 years ago. The truth. That's all. Before we get into it, let me make one thing clear. I still believe your father was the professor, There's no doubt in my mind. But unfortunately, back then, we didn't have the evidence we needed to make the crime stick. So you admitted then the evidence used in my father's trial was fabricated. It was for the good of the country. Anyway, I was just following orders. Orders? What exactly did you do? Speak. I'm not saying another word. Even if your life depends on it. That's right. Even then. So that's how when the tip of the sword broke. Oh, Kazuma-sama. If the results of the killing Van Zieg's autopsy were fabricated, then the investigating officer Gregson and the lead coroner Wilson must have known about it, and they can only have been ordered to pervert the course of justice in that way by one man, the man leading the case for the prosecution. But Van Zieg's was only how old was he? There's no way that doesn't make sense. He was only what he had no pull at that point. He had just graduated for crying out loud. Huh? In other words, the defendant did have a cause to organize this exchange of assassins. Exactly. And as was established earlier, it has to have been the Reaper himself who liaised with the Jigoku in Japan to arrange the exchange. Ah. So it follows that the Reaper's true identity can only be the man who stands accused in this courtroom today, Baron Van Zieks. No. Kazuma Sogi. What? What you just told the court. Are you absolutely certain of your facts? Did Gregson really fabricate evidence for that trial 10 years ago? I heard it with my own ears. His shameful admission. In that case, I know the name of the Reaper. Yeah, I think I know. Yeah, it has to be Thing. It's Strongheart. What? What? Lord Van Zieks? I gave no such orders. I know that for certain. Which narrows down the remaining possibilities to one. If Lord Van Zieks isn't the one who behind all this, then yes, there's only one other person who could have done something like that. I believe I know who it is too. You? I just had a feeling this name was going to come up. The true identity of the infamous Reaper of the Bailey, it has to be Strongheart. It has to be Strongheart. He was the prosecutor. He was the prosecutor for the trial. It's Strongheart. It's Strongheart. The only person who could have arranged the assassin exchange and manipulated the autopsy report results, because he did it in this case too. Is the Lord Chief Justice himself, Lord Male Strongheart. What? Lord Strongheart? Yes, it's true that 10 years ago the defendant handled the prosecution of the professor in court, but he only took over the case after his brother, Lord Clint Van Zieks, had been killed. Uh-oh. I can only assume that this is the most inappropriate joke in British judicial history. Yeah, well, Lord Van Zieks, 10 years ago, I was very new to my profession, but I had a burning desire to avenge my brother's death, so I pleaded for the control of the case. The investigation to that point, the supplication of the lords to allow my brother's corpse to be examined, all the evidence I was given, the autopsy reports, and it all came from you. Yeah, it came from him. It had to be. He was the only one. Uh-oh. And I've spent my life since then believing I was in your debt for the way you stood aside and let me handle it. But it was just for him to take the fall. But I see now. I was very much mistaken. It was a hugely influential force that caused the inspector and the coroner to break the law 10 years ago. And the same force was self-fed a decade later on the other side of the world by Seishiro Jigoku. Lord Strongheart, everything falls into place when we recognize that you are the Reaper of the Bailey. Yeah, talk about cleaning up the law. The court awaits your response, my lord. This may very well go down in British judicial history, but I assure you, it is no joke. Consider this a formal accusal by the defense. It doesn't warrant a response. A formal accusal? Don't be absurd. The defense's claims are utter nonsense, a wild fantasy at best. You're not going to defend yourself. You claim there was some wrongdoing with Lord Clint Vanzig's autopsy. Then that's utterly untrue. But I heard it from Gregson's own lips. He admitted to it. And where is your evidence? What? Gregson's dead now, unless you were thinking of summoning a ghost to the stand. You mean to say, I forget how the system works in your little backwater country, but in the courts of British Empire, without evidence, there is no case. I have no intention of entertaining some wild fantasy that can't possibly be sustained by anyone or anything. Ah! I think we got evidence. Order in the court. Following Inspector Gregson's murder and in the light of Dr. Wilson's death as well, there's really no one left who could testify about the events of 10 years ago. Is there? Oh, no, there is someone. There is someone. Someone else was there. It had to be things. Dr. Mikotoba. So that was the real purpose of the assassin exchange. This court has no business raking over the coals of a case that was concealed a decade ago. The accusal brought by the prosecution and defense is categorically denied. I take it there are no objections. Kazuma, he's more or less waited his whole life for this moment. Is there really nothing else we can do? Is there no other avenue we can go down in pursuit of the truth about what happened all those years ago? If only there was someone who could testify about Clint Vanzig's autopsy. There's someone. He's gone to extraordinary lengths to cover his tracks, even so far as dispatching an assassin on the way to Japan to ensure. Oh, you know what? He probably doesn't know that Mikotoba is the one who wrote that note, and Dr. Scythe won't say anything against Strongheart. But there's still one ray of hope. There's one person who was there with the autopsy. Actually, there is one person who could still testify about that autopsy. Don't be ridiculous. There's no one left. He doesn't know. Who, Ryunosuke? Who? Tell me. Kazuma, please, this trial can end. Not yet. I'm not doing this for you. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the truth. But obviously it would be his assistant. That's how they are friends. Yujin Mikotoba, heaven help us, another Japanese expert in forensic medicine, my lord, Professor Yujin Mikotoba. 16 years ago, he came to London with Seishiro Jigoku and Genshin Isogi as a visiting student. And what could this testimony possibly tell us? Professor Mikotoba was the primary assistant during the autopsy in question. He was also the person who actually penned the report. Incorrect. The autopsy was carried out by the coroner, Dr. Wilson. The report carries a signature. It was the primary assistant's duty to keep a written record of the coroner's work during the procedure. In actual fact, The coroner merely read over the report at the end and signed it. That's why he didn't know about Mikotoba. In other words, Professor Mikotoba witnessed the entire autopsy from start to finish. The defense demands that Professor Mikotoba be summoned as a witness of the matter as a matter of urgency. Whatever really happened in that autopsy laboratory 10 years ago is something only he can tell us. Nope, wrong. The defense demands is denied. What? But Professor Mikotoba is in London at this very moment. We can summon him to the stand in a minute. No, of course he's not going to agree to it. Strongheart has no intention of summoning anyone who knows. He's too concerned about protecting himself. Prosecutor Sogi, let me refresh your memory, as you seem to have forgotten the prosecution's stance. Only minutes ago, you accused the defendant of being the Reaper and of masterminding the assassin exchange. I did, yes? So present your evidence for those claims and make your case complete. At this time, I don't have the requisite evidence, but that's exactly why we need this witness testimony. The professor case is closed. There are no clues in the distant past that will bolster your argument today. I'm afraid to say, Prosecutor Sogi, that you would appear to be possessed by the spirit of your late homicidal father. Now, as I stated earlier, this court has already reached a conclusion with respect to the matter at hand. Inspector Gregson was murdered by Japanese Supreme Court Judge Seishiro Jigoku. As for any hidden circumstances that may exist, they will be investigated in due course by the proper authorities. But we all know about what will happen. That'll just give the mastermind of the whole venture time to cover his tracks again, by which you mean me. Your punishment for this contemptible behavior will be decided at a later date. As for you, Prosecutor Sogi, you will be remanded following the proceedings. Willingly, I trust, since you gave your word. This futile game of revenge is over. Young Master Asogi. No. This can't be it. That will be all. I hereby declare this trial to be over. Court is... Sholmes! Hold it! I knew it. Mr. Sholmes? There's no place for amateur detection, Mr. Sholmes. May I remind you that these proceedings are closed to the general public. You will leave the courtroom at once. Mr. Sholmes was instrumental in the apprehension of Seishiro Jigoku before he fled from Europe. The court should hear what he has to say. Lord Mail Strongheart. It's imperative that you refrain from bringing this trial to an end at this stage. Is it really? And why would that be? Yeah, he did say, he said we were gonna, the court case would be, today's trial would be to find out who the Reaper really was. You need only recall your own words from the opening of the trial to answer that question, if I may. We will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Surely it can't be that the shock of being accused of being the Reaper yourself has erased that from your memory, can it? The whole truth, sir, has already been uncovered. It would seem that we have a great many important members of the judiciary present here today. I put it to you, my dear fellows, should the trial end at this juncture? After all, why have you been invited to attend? To nod along to the prevarications of your superiors? Yeah, Order in court! It seems to me that we stand before the door that leads to a new era of legal practices, and that door is ajar. Let us emerge from the shadows of the Reaper's decade-long ascendancy. For you and you alone, my dear fellows, have the power to push this door open now. The auditors in the gallery have no rights to express an opinion on court proceedings. Silence. He's right. The judge has absolute authority here. Yes. If he calls the trial to the end, it must end. But will that really do? As a third thing, I can. Like, is there a single person here who, what, what's the people? The trial will go on. Summon the witness. That's right. We need to clear this up before that young Japanese fellow is remanded into custody. The British people are giving him a chance, huh? Or, my lord, you assured those present that you would uncover the whole truth here. Vindicate yourself on the slanderous indictment. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's the very foundation of British law. I toast to my dependable colleagues in the gallery. Testify! 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 Well, my lord, you hear the voices of British justice. I take it. I think you'll find it will be rather awkward to silence. The court will recess briefly. I have no intention of shrinking from these allegations. Bailiff, arrange for the subpoena of the witness at once. As soon as the gentleman arrives at the courthouse, we shall reconvene. A recess won't be necessary, my lord. Pardon? Mikotoba is a close friend of mine. He accompanied me today and is waiting in the antechamber as we speak. I do believe he's been enjoying a little trip down memory lane, in fact. What? Professor Mikotoba is here in the courthouse? Mr. Sholmes, you didn't know this would happen, did you? My dear fellow, no one is a better position to answer that question than you, surely. I wasn't just asking for the fun of it, you know? Well, I must thank you for your assistance in this matter, Mr. Sholmes. However, you have no further use here. Kindly leave the courtroom at once. But of course, in truth, I find myself rather busy now as a result of these developments. Miss Naruhodo. Ah, yes. I trust you have Arius's little lucky charm with you. Absolutely. It's still in my pocket. She sends her regards and a reminder. If you find yourself at a dead end, the ears are at your disposal. Just one tug, if you please. Oh, of course. In that case, the trial will continue without delay. Bailiff, show the witness to the stand. No, this must be part 2. So it's Lord Strongheart. He's the Reaper of the Bailey. So where exactly is this trial going to take me, I wonder? Just how deep am I about to be plunged into the blackness of the abyss? Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to head into the heart of this maelstrom and confront whatever horror it tries to drown me under. Hmm. Um, it's come to my attention that the sound is gone again. Hold on. Damn it. My thing was down to, ah. Good. Wait, hold on. Let me. Damn it! I think that last part might have been silent. Okay. Well, hold on. Let's wait because I see that The bit rate is collapsing right now. Hold on. I'm getting a massive amount of drop frames. Woo! So let's just wait here for a second. Part one. Oh, apparently right here. Oh no, it's right here. Why is my holy? My thing is going. My yeah. Hold. Sorry guys. It seems to be. Yeah, the bit rate is going crazy, super bad right now. It's in the red. So hold on. Let me. Okay, so I know I was gonna use the washer anyway, so let me just BRB, and then I will. Well, hopefully it'll be fixed by then. So hold on. You can listen to some music. So hold on. 1 sec. I'll be back. I'm back. Hold on. I don't know. It says I'm getting green, but then it goes back to red. So I don't know. But it's the bitrate on Twitch is still green. So I guess we're just gonna continue. That'd probably be fine. Maybe it bugged out a little bit. So yeah, let's continue. So witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Yuji Mikotoba. Oh wait, Dr. Gori's here. Lecturer in forensic medicine at the Imperial Yuma University in Tokyo, Japan. Why is she she's hitting him with the coroner's stare. And Professor Mikotoba, the young lady beside you, is Ah, this is Dr. Maria Gori, Scotland Yard's practicing coroner, the daughter of Dr. Scythe. I understand. Yes, Dr. Scythe. I'm afraid I can't tell you why she's here. She just appeared. You summoned the strange Japanese man as a witness to that autopsy, but you don't summon Mama. That makes no sense. She was there too. That's about the size of it. I've had her eyes boring into the side of my cheek constantly, whilst I was in the antechamber too. Poor man. The idea of it's making me shudder. The revelations about Dr. Scythe that came to light some days ago were defiled the reputation of the entire judiciary. So she was therefore deemed unfit to appear as a witness in today's proceedings. The Ministry of Justice's decision on that is final. Well, we wouldn't want any more perjury to be committed, would we? The Ministry of Justice. Some questionable strings are being pulled, I think. I remember you, Dr. Mikotoba, but I certainly never expected to be meeting you under these circumstances. Yes, it has been a long while, Lord Strongheart. The prosecution understands that you were a visiting student of forensic science in London until 10 years ago. That's right. I studied under Dr. Wilson at St. Sinners. Or I guess it's St. Sinners. I'm going to say Sinners. So, you're present at the autopsy of my brother, Lord Clint Van Sleeks? I was, yes. I assisted Dr. Wilson with the entire procedure. Mama's far more skilled than any Japanese man. Racist. Well, Dr. Wilson asked me to be his primary assistant on that occasion. And this autopsy report was actually penned by you, I believe. Yes. I noted all the doctor's findings. When we were done, he read through the document and signed it. Poor Mama. As secondary assistant, she wouldn't have such a good view of all the innards. So, Professor, do you remember Inspector Gregson? Yes, of course. If it wasn't for his insistence, Lord Vansley's autopsy would never have happened. But he was absolutely convinced that it would reveal the decisive evidence against Genshin, you see. So Lord Strongheart had to entreat the nobility to allow it to take place. Do correct me if I'm wrong, my lord. It was a result of that autopsy that a mass murderer was apprehended and justice was done. But Gregson admitted it before he was killed. He admitted that the results of the autopsy were fabricated. You were there at the time, so you must testify. You have an obligation to tell the truth about what really went on. Absolutely. That's precisely why I'm here. And that's why I'm here too. Very well then. You will give your formal testimony now, witness. But before you begin, a word of warning. Oh? You will state truthfully and accurately what you saw and what you heard at the time. I wouldn't dream of doing otherwise, my lord. The moment your testimony verges on supposition, I will expel you from my courtroom. Remember that. So this is gonna be a press because she's here. No, it's got okay. In that case, okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. It is getting kind of bad. In that case, hold on. I'm gonna try and restart the stream. Oh, you know what? And since I saved then, we can just go back. We can just go back. Okay, yeah, we'll just go back. Okay, so hold on. I'll be back. 1 sec.